Go live there. And automatically. Yay. Okay. I think we're good. Morning, Carly.
Oh, that feels so good.
What's that, the stretch or?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So. I think we're pumping.
Listen to us two this morning. I'm like,
Man. It's messy.
you're coughing.
You know, we're authentic leaders.
We're humans.
Yeah. Are we?
I think so.
Good morning. How's the House of Carly going this morning? All good?
The House of Carly is doing very well. Only
Very
one
good.
kid awake, so that's good.
Not yet.
Your little mate hasn't woken up yet, so
Yeah, that's all right. It'll happen. That's why we always only have 5 or 6 questions.
soon enough she'll take over the camera.
Deal with it.
I've found a great strategy. So I've been just turning up the heater and just making the room like really hot. And
making the snuggle bug a snuggle bug.
Yeah. And she's been sleeping a little bit longer. So
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How are you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm recovering, which is the best thing.
So what did you have? The flu?
Yeah, I got influenza A, and then I got like a chest and throat infection, and it was great. I hate being sick. I think I can do anything else. Morning, Taz. Morning, Loza. I can do anything else, but I hate being sick. I can't stand not doing physical activity or I looked after my diet. I was pretty good to be able to just take control of that, which is the only thing I really can control. But just not being, even just to walk, right? I got out, I thought I'll go for a walk. No, I got 100 meters down the road and I was like, no, I can't do this. Definitely can't do that. So but
it's one of those moments where you probably needed to listen to your body.
The body was saying, hey dude, you need to take a knee.
Yeah.
So I did. Hey Vanessa, how are you? Certainly a newbie. I was just trying to jump on a Zoom to watch this. Love it. No, well, you did well and got on last night and asked a ton of great questions. And Vanessa, we'll get back to you today too about your breakfast, because I think that's important. She's a brekkie girl and wants to introduce that. So had a great idea about Weet-Bix, and we worked out the calories between Weet-Bix and oats is exactly the same for the same serving size. So as long as she can add the extra protein that she's going to miss out on in the day, because she's not a big fan of the old protein shakes and protein powders. So we'll work that out. But hey, Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Hello, Instagram crew. Welcome to live Q&A.
Yeah, good morning.
Ask questions in the chat if you would like to.
Yeah, if we don't get to your questions, we will answer them either directly or next week we'll pop them into the next week's show. But let's move forward because
you and I are on it.
We're on a roll. Time frame.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm unorganized this morning, so I don't like it. But...
Let's go.
Okay, question number 1. What should I do? Oh, is it not working now? Hello. What should I do if I'm at my daily calorie allowance, but I haven't hit my protein target? What should I do? Number 1, I think you should give yourself an absolute pat on the back for getting to your protein, your calorie allowance, which is probably the hardest thing to do. Definitely give yourself a pat on the back. That's the first thing I will do, is celebrate knowing that I've had the discipline to be able to be in a deficit, which is really, really hard. But if you haven't hit your protein target, I would be sacrificing the extra calories to hit it. Mind you, if you're if you're 20 or 30 grams of protein away from your target, it's a different story, because we're talking 200 to 300 calories, which might take you over the edge. But if we've done our walks and we've done our gym session or something like that to give ourselves a little bit of a negative deficit that we don't account for, then by all means, smash yourself with the rest of that protein, because it's really, really vital for fat loss.
Yep. I absolutely agree with that, Mike.
What would you go to? Say you had 15 grams of protein left to go at the end of the day and you just needed to hit your protein target. What would you do?
And I was at my calories? Oh, I'd go my protein shake.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's probably the most amount of protein I can hit there with the less amount of calories. If you've got a good protein shake, not one of these ones filled with, all the garbage and the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm low my protein, I usually always go my protein shake. Obviously, always try and go for a whole food source.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you need to try and just tip it over, then I think that's a good option. What do you do?
Yeah, I'd probably, for me, if it was at night time, it'd be yogurt and maybe a little bit of protein powder on the top because it's like really low calorie. Like I look at my protein yogurts, you got 94 calories for 15 grams of protein. Like you can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
I feel like to me, I need to eat something rather than just chug it down.
Yep.
So that'll probably be the thing that I would go for. Or maybe like a protein cookie or something if I feel like a little bit naughty and I want to have a cup of tea with my Vicky.
I will mention though, if that's a repeating habit that's happening every single day, you really need to have a look at your calories and try and get your protein in that little bit earlier. Because if you're having your extra yogurt or your extra protein shake, every single day, 5 days out of the 7, you could actually be putting yourself in a surplus by the end of the week. So, a day here and there, of course, like it doesn't really matter. But if you're doing it every single day, at the end of the week, you're probably going to find yourself in a calorie surplus and wondering why the hell you can't lose any weight.
Yeah, it's really telling you that you're not balancing your meals well enough. So, look at your portion sizes. Like that's generally the first thing that I'd be looking at, thinking, shit, what have I done? If I haven't hit my protein target, you might not be having, 50 extra grams of chicken for lunch and dinner and you've skipped it. So, but you got to just pretend like you're a bodybuilder and you're prepping for comp every day. Every meal is your chance to make sure that you're getting bang for buck. So, protein is super important. If you need to get to your protein target and you hit your calories already, just look for a lower calorie option with a higher bang return for protein and hit your protein target. So,
love it.
Yeah, absolutely bang on. Excuse me. How do I know how much to add to a move? My computer doesn't want to work today.
That's right.
How do I know how much to add to a surplus in calories and take off for a deficit? How do I know how much to add to a surplus in calories and take off?
Dominic. Of course, your mates. I'm not even going to read that because it's going to do me by the end of it.
It's hilarious.
I
love the internet.
Thank you, Dom.
Thanks, Dominic. You're a legend. I really appreciate it. Good luck with that. Penicillin, mate. Penicillin.
Wowee. Okay, so how many calories what was the question? How do I know
how much to add to a surplus in calories and take off for a deficit?
Look, people are going to say, work out your BMI and do all this and do all that. To me, if you are just a beginner, that is like the most confusing shit.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary when you're first starting out. What I would do is learn to track my calories. If you can't do that, just take one snack out of your entire day and see what goes on with your measurements and your scale weight. If you want to gain, add in an extra snack. Adding like 300, 400, 500 calories a day, great. Try there and just gauge it and see what happens. It's the same with, if you want to get yourself into a calorie deficit, just minus a snack or minus, 200, 300, 400 calories or whatever, and just write it out and monitor it. But don't go on the internet and start reading all this, working out your BMI, because that confuses me at the best of times. So, do that later on.
Yeah, totally agree. Especially when you're starting out, that's the hardest part. For seasoned veterans like us, it's no different. It's a walk in the park for us. But how do I know how much to add to a surplus? So if you want to gain weight, what you don't want to do is just go full ham and add on 1,000 calories a day. You need to do it in increments. It's exactly the same as your reduction in calories. We don't want to just go, fuck, I'm just going to drop 1,000 calories for 7 days. Yeah, you're going to lose weight, but you're going to put it on just as quick because you haven't educated yourself or taught yourself how to survive off, a smaller amount of calorie deficit. So, BMR calculators are great for an estimate, but for me, it's just take one meal out per day. That would be the simplest thing to do. 400 or 500 calories, put yourself in a mild reduction of a deficit. But gaining weight's different. It's a different game. we need to start playing really, really small and get to a point where we don't want to chuck on a ton of weight, especially if you want to build lean muscle. That's the hardest part. Is a lot of people go, oh yeah, I've got a bulk, I've got a dirty bulk, so that means it's going to eat whatever I want. But you're going to have to cut, and then you have to alter your diet again and go backwards. So it's a fine art. But the basics of weight loss and calorie deficit is just 300-400 calories per day to start with. And then you'll see the gradual drop. And then we get to a point where there is no more drop, which is like a maintenance level. And then we'll play around with the calories to start increasing to get your metabolism to start firing up. So
I love simplicity.
Yeah, that's probably the simplest way to put it in without confusing everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Next question is, are booty bands necessary to activate your glutes? I think they're necessary to activate almonds. We all love an activated almond. Do I use booty bands? Yeah, I do, mainly for just like mobility stuff and pre-firing certain muscles before I go for a run or a ride. That's the really only reason why I use booty bands. They are good for stabilization. They do help warm-ups, I think, more than anything, but I am not the biggest fan of them for activating glutes and stuff like that. You don't have to have them while you're doing hip thrusts. They do help to keep your legs straight, and they do help to activate your ITB muscles and stuff as well, but are they necessary? No. I think you can activate your glutes properly if you're doing squats and lunges as well. But they are a helpful tool to get things fired up.
I would agree with that, Mike. Doing things like, simple body weight exercises, you can still fire up your glutes, like glute bridges, doing your single legs, leg raises, all of those things can still activate your glutes. You don't need booty bands, but like you just said, Mike, sometimes, using it as a warm up or, just to keep, your form, I guess, in some lining, I think that's a great way. But I wouldn't be going out to purchase myself a pair of booty bands thinking that you're going to grow amazing glutes. I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah, no. But activating your glutes, they do help activate your glutes. To me, that's the purpose of any form of resistance band is to activate something that's not going to be. So, are they necessary? No, they're great for activating mobility, getting things fired up. But really, they're not going to make your ass grow to that peach that you want. That's by getting some serious weight underneath you. That's for sure. All right. How to fire up the central nervous system before squats and deadlifts? Well, that's a good way to back off booty bands because dynamic stretching and warm-ups are really, really important to fire up the central nervous system. We've got to remember we're about to lift some heavy weights. Most compound weight lifts like squats and deadlifts require a lot of muscles. It's not just, hey, I'm going to just do a glute. My glute is activated when I'm squatting. It's not. It's core, it's back, it's shoulders, it's arms to hold and stabilize, and then it's your legs upper and lower. So we're doing a lot of muscle movement in one sequence. So how do you fire it up? Dynamic warm-ups. I like to do mimic movements of the actual exercise that I'm about to do with lighter weights and maybe more reps to get the blood flow going into the right muscles. So for me, you can do explosive box jumps and things like that. Visualization is probably another one too, because we want to activate the brain and knowing our movement structure and how we're going to do it and what's the rep ranges and am I doing only 3 to 4 reps, which means I'm going to go heavy, or am I doing 15, which I'm going to do a little bit lighter. So that's probably how I would do it.
Yeah, I like how you said about mimicking the movement pretty much. For me, if I'm going to go into the squat rack and do some squats, then I will tend to get in there and do a few sets of just body weight without the bar. Like you said, just mimicking that movement and, warming it up that way rather than doing these, folding your leg back up and trying to stretch your muscles out that way. I think, absolutely doing those dynamic stretches is the best way.
Yeah, mimics are the best because you want to get as much blood to the areas you're about to, decimate with some heavy weight. So for me, mimicking the movement.
Can you say that word again?
Decimate.
That sounds like so like just strong.
Yeah, I decimated that for sure.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you got to get excited for warming up, because for me, it's the prevention of a possible injury, especially if you're a newbie to the gym. Like, warm ups are super important. You don't have to do sprints on a treadmill. Like, actually, like doing a stepper or walking on an incline is really, really good to fire up the arse and legs for leg day for 5 minutes or so. But don't overexert yourself. But yeah, mimic movements are the best. For compounds, dynamic warm-ups, dynamic stretches, anything that's getting blood flow to the area you're about to smash. To decimate can always be the best thing for it. So, also, okay, what's the difference between a high bar squat and a low bar squat? Okay, great question. It's basically the bar position on your back. Okay. If you're using the pussy pad,
get rid of it.
Please stop. Okay, please stop. It's not.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yeah, that actually hinders the position of the bar as well. It pops it up a little bit higher, so it can make it a lot more difficult. So it's depending on where you sits on your traps. Generally, if it sits above your traps, it's like the high bar, and the low bar is a little bit further down. We're talking about that far. I'm not talking about your reverse back squat or something like that. Is the low bar squat. So yeah, and they do activate kind of different areas. The high bar activates your quads a little bit more, while low bars is engaging your posterior a little bit more. So because of the position of it, right? Because we're up and over. So that's
able to get down lower, deeper squat.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You can also severely affect your squat position if you raise your heels. It makes it a lot easier to get a bit lower, especially if you're just starting or you've got mobility issues in your hips. Really, really important. But that's the biggest difference, right? It's just the range of motion, the comfort. A lot of people are more comfortable in a high bar than a low bar. I know me personally, I have limited range in my shoulders, and I find a low bar squat a lot harder for me to position. So I'm a big fan of the high bar squat. But then again, for me to change angles, I do a Zercher squat, which sits it in my the crease of my elbows. So it kind of makes me lean a bit more forward. So it just comes down to personal preference more than anything.
Love it.
Okay, how can I build muscle in a minimum amount of time?
If you know, then tell me the answer.
Please. Please.
Guys, I've been training in a gym for years and years and years, and it is really hard to build muscle. And I think this is why a lot of ladies give up, is because, we become overweight so quickly, thinking that we can build muscle really, really quickly. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but it just doesn't work like that. Obviously, there's things we can do to, try and maximize results and making sure that we're getting the most out of our gym sessions. But you've just got to play the long game, be consistent. Consistency is the thing with trying to build muscle. And then, of course, like, you've got all your different time on attention, all of that, upping your weights and the rest of it. Just got to be patient and make sure that you are following a program. I see so many women ripping off programs from Google and YouTube, and it's horrible.
If you don't know, it's definitely horrible, but comparing it to doing nothing, it's fucking good.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. If you're doing nothing and that's the only thing you can afford or whatever, cool, go for it. Make sure you're doing proper form, and if you don't know what proper form is, find out, because that's more important.
If you're wanting to build muscle, number one, you need to make sure your protein is up there and your calories are up.
Correct.
You're going to find it really, really hard to build muscle if you're in a calorie deficit. So knowing enough about nutrition, this is good, because this kind of goes hand in hand with the original question, right?
Correct.
Calorie surplus and the rest of it.
Correct.
So just learning a little bit more about your nutrition and being confident in a gym.
Definitely. I couldn't have said it better. I think consistency and persistency are the key to growth of any kind, mentally or physically. Rest probably would be another one I'd add, making sure you're having enough sleep and recovery. getting your rest days in. And the last one I'd probably say is tracking everything. Tracking your nutrition, tracking your steps, tracking your gym sessions, and making sure progressive overload is the key to growing muscle.
Yeah.
You can't grow muscle sitting on the same weight for the whole fucking duration of your gym session through 12 months. It won't happen. You have to increase. Progressive overload to me are the 1.25 kilo additions to the bar, not going from 100 to 140 straight away, because it ain't going to work. It's going to get you injured unless you physically can do it. So for me, it's building muscles like baking a cake. Follow the fucking recipe and be patient while it's cooking, right? That's probably the best analogy for it. In terms of duration. So
if you guys come up with something a lot quicker, let me know.
There's Tren, there's
that's right.
There's a few other things we could talk about, but no, let's not.
Yeah, true. I shouldn't have said that.
I got a question live. Okay, from Lee, one of my mates. Mike, how do you personally overcome the fear of speaking on camera? Cool. Not really related to health and fitness, but I'd love to answer this question because I have struggled with it for years, and I know you have too, Carly. So I think coming from two people that were a little bit camera shy who now aren't camera shy, it's not easy to start with. But I guess for me, the fear is just keep doing the reps. It's like lifting the weights, right? Just as soon as you start doing the reps, it gets a lot easier. I used to have a fear of, what if I say something wrong, or what if I look silly? What if I hold myself back from everything in life by just sitting here and being scared about it? I've said plenty of things wrong. I've said a few faux pas that have been picked up by people, but I've apologized and I've made up for it, and I've corrected myself if I've said the wrong thing, because I'm human. But Lee, knowing you, dude, and like you're
what does Lee do?
Lee's like us. He's an online coach, but he focuses on body composition and physique, and he's transformed some awesome humans, and his body himself is really, really awesome. And I know his knowledge from speaking to him is top notch. So, I think you just got to get out of your the fear zone and get uncomfortable. And dude, if you want to do a live together, like, I'm more than happy to pop your cherry. I think in that aspect it would be pretty cool. So
I love that question, Lee. Yeah, I love that. And you know what? I'm going to add there too. You can be in the most epic shape of your life. That doesn't mean you're going to be confident on camera.
Yeah.
I think it's truly finding who you are and absolutely owning yourself and being, just like, it can just be, like your true authentic self, back yourself, believe in yourself, and don't try and be someone that you're not, because it's going to come across as though
it does.
Yeah. People can see through that. I think just, being yourself, backing yourself, and creating that self-belief. And it's a process, but like you said, Mike, just keep repeating it, keep putting the reps in, keep showing up.
You have to.
Yep.
You have to. And I go back and look at the first times I've ever done reels, or I've done a live video, and I was nervous as fuck, and I looked like an amateur. But when you talk about things that you know lots about, like I know you, Lee, you know so much about health and fitness, like there would be, I think you'd find it hard pressed to stop talking about it. It's just about, like Carly said, not worrying about what people are going to say. Who cares? There's always going to be someone out there that is going to want to rip you off and try and decimate you. I'll use that word again. Yeah. If I could show you the notes of today's call, we've had a couple of curly ones thrown at us from YouTube. And the guy's trying to make us break, and normally Carly and I, we do break. I am like, but we've learned to deflect from it. But dude, it's
people.
I'm happy to jump on with you and do a live, dude. I think it would be the best thing for you.
I love that, Mike. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Scott. Keep turning up. Comfort comes from being uncomfortable. It absolutely does. Yeah. And you know what, Lee? You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that want to tear you down and say nasty things. But you know what? You wait for the support that comes around that. Like, just don't get caught up on the negative comments that people love to put out, because it's meaningless. Don't worry about it. Believe in yourself and go for it.
You've got so much more potential, Lee, than you believe in, dude. And I've known you for like 4 years now, and we did our first coaching together, and I remember like even then you're probably the most experienced out of all the people that were in the group. It's just going to be just because I look like, I'm all okay and calm. I still shit myself when I get on camera all the time. I'm still nervous as fuck. But I'd just be myself, and I couldn't care less about the result unless I'm being an absolute dick and offending people. But I know I won't. So.
It's like anything, guys. You want to get good at something, you've got to continue to show up. You've got to continue to
ask away, Raj.
Do shit when you don't feel like doing it.
Correct.
Take the emotion out of it and just show up for yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly right. So, Lee, let me know if you want to do a live. More than happy. How long until I start losing muscle/strength when I stop going to the gym? Okay. Short breaks, 1-2 weeks, really won't lead to significant muscle loss. 3 to 4 weeks, you possibly can start losing a little bit of strength. Anytime after that, it generally starts to degrade. If you're not using it, you lose it, right? That's the old analogy. If you still maintain your nutrition and you're still, getting your protein intake out in every single day, it will minimize the muscle loss. But it's the same thing like we said before. If you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, so we got to stay active. Rests and breaks are great because they're going to help the overall recovery and also give you extra energy the next time you go back to the gym because your muscles have had time to relax. So don't come back straight away and think you're going to, if you've had 2 weeks off, I'm going to go lift the same as last time. Generally, you probably won't be able to if you're in the 3-week bracket because you've lost a little bit of strength. But if you're staying active during your time off and you're eating well, like you probably will minimize the amount of muscle loss. But I'm not talking about you're going to see your bicep just drop and that's it. It's
deflate.
The strength. Yeah, deflate. It's just the strength of it. So, that's probably the best way to explain it.
Yeah, exactly what you just said, Mike.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, Vanessa, last comment. I can't believe how much I've learned about food from you guys in only 1 week. Calories and kilojoules of protein, so much knowledge. That's awesome. That's the shit that drives us, Vanessa, because this is our bread and butter. We love this stuff. Like, you probably won't get a better team in the world that will support you to the end. I said that to you last night on the call. That's our strength. You can Google anything these days and you can learn about calorie deficit. But if you don't have that support behind you, you will not succeed. Everybody else there, I hope you're listening because that's to do with everything in life, any transformation. If you don't have the right support, you ain't going to make it. So thanks, Vanessa. I really appreciate that comment.
And as well, Vanessa, you should be super proud of you. I wish more more women and men from coaching Men's Academy. I wish more clients were like you, Vanessa, that ask questions. This is why you are learning, because you're not sitting on your hands. And if you're wondering about something, you reach out to us and we answer your questions. So, do exactly what you're doing. Okay. Yeah. No question is too dumb, too little, or you should know the answer. Ask away. This is what we're here for.
Exactly right. And like last night on the onboarding call, Vanessa had I reckon 50,000 questions and she kept apologizing. I'm like, this is great because it means that you're doing this for the right reason. It means you need to learn a little bit more information about it, or maybe we haven't taught you enough yet. It's not that. It's just those little bits that to fill in the gap. So well done to you, Vanessa.
That message this morning, Mike, saying your onboarding call was awesome, and how many questions that Vanessa was asking, and how you said watch her, she's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I love it. I love when people really want it, because to me it makes total sense in life if you're on the right path for transformation. So all right, thanks guys, that's us for today. I really appreciate the live stuff as well and the interactions and all the support. Again, if we haven't answered a question or I've missed it, because sometimes we get thousands and thousands of questions come through, please DM it to us, and we'll get to it either personally or do it next week on the next Q&A. But apart from that, enjoy your day, guys. It's been awesome once again.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks, Carls.